karanasan mo po, tingnan ba nakasalanan ng media?
Media educators and journalists called to defend press freedom.
This corruption in media will contribute to karanasan mo po.
Welcome to News Cafe. I'm Mitzi Borromeo. Today's episode will be different from our usual shows because we're on location at the PETA Theater, where we'll be speaking to the actors and actresses behind their current musical, Rak of Aegis. Let's go. The Philippine Educational Theater Association, or more commonly known as PETA, has been giving Filipinos locally produced performances highlighting the language and culture of Philippine society. Before PETA was formed, theater performances only catered to the elite using Western influences and languages.
PETA was founded in 1967 by Cecil Idote Alvarez. So she had just come from her studies in the States, and ang thesis or dissertation niya was the creation of the national theater movement in the Philippines. So kasi pinapaniwalaan niya na walang country that doesn't have its own theater performing in its own language and creating plays using its own national language. Kasi remember that was 1967, so at that time very colonial, no?
PETA has just closed its 46th season in its own home theater in New Manila, Quezon City, which they moved to in 2005. A landmark in Philippine arts and culture, a far cry from the Dulaang Raha Sulaiman in Fort Santiago, Intramuros.
We got Fort Santiago as a performance area, and that's where we were been performing. We performed until we left it about 10 years ago to come to this theater center. No? So we built this theater center mga magta 10 years na ata, 8 to 10 years ago. So basically, yung main objective talaga, I think, ng PETA is basically first obviously, to create and develop theater that is Filipino.
With more than 400 plays performed and thousands of workshops facilitated, the PETA Theater Center is where their members and teachers continue to pursue their dreams for people in society with a vision that transcends race, class, gender, so that lives may be enriched and empowered with each gesture, word, sound, and expression. In the 1990s, songs like Basang Basa sa Ulan, Luha, and Sinta by the legendary band Aegis were very popular on the radio and in videoke clubs. Well, now those songs have been turned into a musical through PETA's Rak of Aegis. And tonight, joining me is one of the cast members, a legend herself, Isay Alvarez. Welcome to the show, Isay.
Hi, kinalibutan ako. Legend.
Fan ako. I've been watching you. I grew up with you, of course, Batibot.
Yes.
Miss Saigon.
Thank you.
So it's an honor to be with you tonight.
Thank you for having me here.
So you've been around, well, in the theater entertainment industry for quite a long time, from Miss Saigon, Batibot, and now Rak of Aegis. How is this different from your other productions in the past?
This particular show, for me, is fun. Ever since I've been telling them, let's not overthink about this musical. This is a fun musical that we're offering to the Filipinos. It's something that everybody can enjoy.
Yeah.
The young will definitely love the Aegis band, the songs of
Yes.
Aegis.
Yung emo, no? All that angst. And
Yes,
all- yeah.
and the rearrangements of
Yes.
Mike Solomon
True.
is really fantastic, galing.
He even adds an electronic twist to it, no?
Yes. So talagang yung mga young people, they really love the show.
Yeah. Well, Robert Senya said that he actually wasn't familiar with Aegis. Neither really were you with the band itself. No? This was the 90s. He was away, and
Actually, we were inside God.
you were inside. Yes,
Yes.
you were doing the West End
Yes.
performances.
That's
so, how did you feel performing or having to study their music, Aegis?
In the beginning, parang it's daunting for me because I'm an alto, and parang most of the songs that I do are from musical theater, and this one is really rock-rockan.
Oh, iba rak-rak.
But because the character naman doesn't really require to do that.
Your character Mary Jane.
Yes, but sometimes parang there's a need, and then I get crazy.
So you have an outlet. Do you like getting crazy with it?
I'm always crazy. Like my sister told me, parang because this month is really a busy month for both of us. Aside from the weekend shows, we have our other shows that we do. So parang non-stop. And then my sister told me, you should stop. You should give some of your shows to your alternate. Sabi ko, I've been doing that. It's just that, sabi ko, performing is happiness.
Yeah.
So performing is happiness. So it doesn't matter if you're tired. It really gives you that kind of energy
See,
and
isn't that the
happiness.
best? You're actually passionate about your work.
Yes.
You love
Yes.
doing what you do. Well, how is it working with your husband? So in this play, you're not actually married, but you
Yes.
have a past story,
Yes.
a history. What's it like? You must bring in some of your actual story to the stage. How is
I
that?
don't think so. I don't think so. We try to do the character na hindi naman talaga kami. Pero, but we've been doing shows together for quite some time now. In the beginning, parang I was playing his manager or booker because we don't have managers in our singing career. So every time he's needed, so I'm the one being called. And then usually there's a singer, or a female singer
Yes.
to perform with him. Most of the time, they'll just call me again and say, "Can you do it?" And then, in the beginning, parang nakakahiya kasi,
Kasi
mag-asawa
nga,
yan, manager, ganyan. And then we got used to it. Parang
Yeah.
it's better pala that way.
Yeah,
So for years, we've been doing shows, corporate shows together.
Yeah. And you also started a group together, Spotlight Artist Center,
Yes,
which
yes,
is a school,
yes.
no?
It's a
for
school. It's a
acting.
music school, and we also do workshops, musical theater workshops.
Yeah. And he was the artistic director for Katie,
Yes.
which you starred in.
Yes,
How is
and,
it when you're taking, well, you have to take some direction from your husband. Of course, you also input. What's that like?
You have to do it very gently. You have to time it well.
Yeah.
I think that's a key.
Para walang away.
Yes, otherwise you just.
So what are the pros and cons of working with a spouse, would you say?
Well, it's easier if you have to. It's easier if you have to rehearse because we're always together. You can do it in the car.
That's true.
Yeah.
Pag-usapan niyo sa bahay
but
or something.
the downside would be because we're both artists. Sometimes we're just we're very emotional,
Yes.
and at times you just can't stop yourself from blurting out. So you have to tame yourself.
Right. Kailangan i-balance.
Yes.
Wag sabayin
Yes.
ang galit.
Yes.
So for this particular musical, Rak of Aegis, what has been the highlight for you? What do you think some of your favorite experiences have been, whether it's in the preparation or the actual
I think the first one, the first off, it's the company, the cast. Like a lot of the actors in the show, they came from the shows that we've produced. So they were still very young in the industry, and now they're doing very well.
Yes.
So and that's Gerald Napoles, that's Poppert Bernardes, and of course Aisel.
She played the young
yes,
Katie,
yes,
no?
and many other actors in the cast. So we just, I think you can see, you can actually feel the love that we have for each other.
Yeah. And it's a great team. You see the chemistry on stage.
Yes.
And it's funny, when I watched, there was an incident where a child was crying, and you used that, you and the actor playing...
Julian
Don
Mendoza, the one
Yes.
playing Fernan.
Yeah, because it's interesting. You just take whatever happens, and then spontaneous. It worked really well.
Because sometimes you get distracted, or sometimes you can use that.
Paano nga yun kung may
lang.
mga distractions? It must sometimes naiinis ka na. How do you handle that, especially in a live
Wala, you
performance?
really have no choice but to really contain yourself. You have to be patient. That, especially with very young audiences, like the students, sometimes they really just want to make papansin. And sometimes you really get irritated when it's too much. Sometimes you want to go out in between shows and tell them, hey, this is how you do it in theater.
Sinermon ng
Yes.
mga audience. Well, I'd like to ask now about your experiences in the past. So you and Robert worked in London, all around Europe, and the US for Miss Saigon and other performances. No, how is it different working in an environment like America or Europe and the Philippines?
I think the only difference, the big difference, would be the theater, or I mean the technicals involved in the production. Of course, they have moving sets, they have sophisticated
Mas may
lighting.
budget.
There's yes, of course, the budget for that, and the miking itself. Sabi ko nga, 25 years ago in Saigon, the kind of the lapel mics that we used then still not here.
Really? Okay, yeah. Because you don't see them. They're not very visible. Not
Yes,
unlike
here you have to put it here or here.
Kitang-kita.
Pwede mo na ilagay sa ilong mo. Yan.
Part of the costume.
Yes.
So that's a frustration for you, huh?
Yes, it is a frustration for me.
We
And I
don't-
think for most actors, parang it gets in the way. Like if you're watching it, parang ano yung nandito nila? What's that over there?
Ako rin,
Yeah, parang
parati ko
what's that, no,
tinatanong
diba?
yan. So what do you think the Philippines needs to do in terms of providing more support to the theater industry?
I think it should go into the psyche of the Filipino to support our own. I always tell people, if we don't support our own, it will just die a natural death. Nobody will, like PETA has been doing this for many years, promoting original Filipino works. And I think it was very challenging in the beginning, but now I think they're able to do shows that cater to a lot of people, a wider audience. And I commend them for that. I really like the fact that they're doing that. I hope more groups will do that, so we can have a more active Philippine theater.
Yeah. Well, on that note, the director Maribel Legarda did say about local or Philippine production, she said that we cannot be a world-class force if we do not have our own originality.
Yes.
So this is a way of putting the Philippines in the global arena.
Yes, yes. Like for example, if you go to our country, you see beautiful sights, our beaches. Ano yun? World-class yun. I would say that it's even more beautiful than the others.
I agree.
Also, in relation naman dun sa entertainment industry, the actors here, the singers here are at par with our counterparts. And we can do so much more. So, like, if tourists go to our beaches, I think that the tourists should also see the entertainment industry, the shows that we do, the original works that we do, so they have a glimpse of our country, our culture, our history.
Yes. Well, what do you think of Filipinos themselves? We seem to have some kind of colonial mentality even with theater. Like you were saying something about Wicked. You have a frustration with the way Filipinos will spend money on a musical like Wicked.
Filipinos will spend thousands of pesos. They will line up and they really go out of their way just to see something like Wicked. Well, hindi ko naman sinasabi you shouldn't do that because it's not always that they come to our country.
Yes.
But I'm just hoping that Filipinos will give the same support to those foreign musicals.
Yes.
Para naman we can have more. The producers will be more encouraged to do more.
Right. So how do you feel about the audience reaction to the reception of Rak of Aegis? Do you think Filipinos are really gravitating towards theater?
Yes, I'm very happy. The audiences that we have here are the type of audience that I would love to have every time there is a show, or if I produce another one, I would love to have them again. I think because after Rak of Aegis, they are very,
For you and Robert, having worked abroad, this caliber, the voice, no? In terms of the requirement for a role, like something you did it for Miss Saigon, and then the roles here, is there a difference, or do you think it's like, well, earlier you were saying it's the technicalities, but do you think that there's better mentorship abroad, better support for preparation?
I think yung mentorship, I think you have to look it. If you're an actor, you have to do it, you have to look for your mentor. You have to do your own work.
Yeah.
Kahit naman siguro yung mga counterparts namin doon, they do that. And our counterparts, they studied performing arts or musical theater from elementary hanggang college. Unlike us, from experience lang lagi. So kami, I take extra dance lessons. When we were doing Katie, I had to study tap.
Yeah.
Well, them, it's just natural. You ask them, they can do that.
Yeah.
But sa amin, it's an extra thing that we need to do.
Yeah.
Like we still take voice lessons.
Yes. What do you think about the current generation of actors from your time, both theater and television? Are they very different now? Is the training the same? Is their performance very different?
I think parang mas privileged yung new actors now because available in YouTube. If you want to watch, for example, a clip from Miss Saigon or from Wicked, it's available. Also, if you want to watch Katie, it's also available. So meron mga things like that. When I was doing Cory, I was preparing for the role. I had to study all her clips, or her video clips. the books. Parang it's the same. If you're doing if you're in West End, you'll be doing the same thing.
It's easier now. They have easier access.
Easier
to
access, yes,
information.
that's right.
Yeah. So if there's something you really want to do for Filipinos in theater, let's say with your company, Spotlight Artist Center,
yes.
what are you really hoping for the future of Philippine theater?
Well, the next project that we want to do is something that we're hoping it could be a long-running thing. Like I told you, I want foreigners to come and
Yes.
watch a particular show. It doesn't have to be a full-length musical. It can be like an hour musical, and it can be like, it's just $10 worth, and then you see something,
Yes.
affordable,
Easily accessible.
yes.
Yeah. So what are your new projects coming up that we might be seeing you in? Any teasers?
Teasers. I think we're going to be doing that after this and the rerun of Katie.
Okay. Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you
joining
very
us.
much
I
for
know it's a
having
busy
me.
time for you.
Thank you.
All right, we have to take a short break right now. But when we come back, we'll be talking to Kakay Bautista. News Cafe will be back after these messages.
PETA is not only a theater troupe, it is also a group that tries to give back to the community by teaching them how to use theater in expressing themselves, especially through moments of crisis.
I think PETA is always connected with society kasi hindi lang kasi kami nagpa-perform, nagtuturo rin kami. We really just truly believe that theater is a wonderful tool not only for social expression but also a way to be able to get a community together and use this art to express what their issues are from the personal and to the larger communities.
In fact, PETA has numerous programs and projects dedicated to teaching communities to use theater and various artistic forms in expressing themselves and in giving special attention to certain issues that PETA advocates, such as child rights, safety and protection, and social transformation, including the Art Zone project.
I don't deserve to be treated like this.
So we go out, we teach, we interact, and then what we learn, we also bring back to the stage, and that's what we put on stage and have a performance with. So may parang relationship yung inner-outer life namin as artists.
Anong ibig sabihin ito?
Indeed, PETA is more than just about performing. It's also about outreach and networking that fosters community-building values that are participatory, collaborative, transparent, and democratic.
Good evening, Kakay. Thanks for joining us in News Cafe. It is so much fun watching you on stage.
Oh, thank you
Talagang
so much.
Sayang-saya, yung buong group, talagang you're having fun on stage, right?
Yes,
What
yes.
has been your favorite part of Rak of Aegis so far?
Actually, lahat ng eksena eh. Pagka wala ako sa stage, andun lang ako sa standby, nanonood ako eh.
Oo.
Kasi gusto kong abangan lahat. Kasi lahat kasi tahi-tahi, nakakatawa.
And each moment is different,
yes,
ano?
Yes, yes.
So whenever you're on stage, there's really no repetition, is there?
Yes, no take two.
Oo.
Bahala ka sa buhay mo. Kailangan nag-iisip ka.
Familiar ka ba sa music ng Aegis? You grew up
Pero
with it?
yung mga kanta lang talaga na sikat, hindi ko alam na eto pala, may kanta pala.
Ako rin.
ganito,
Oh, this is
diba?
what you hear sa mga video. Okay.
Oo, yun kasi lagi nire-request din sa mga racket, sa mga trabaho. Kanta ka naman ng Aegis.
Oo.
Ganun.
So paano yung preparation mo for your role?
Ako na, actually kasi ang hirap eh. Kasi first time kong gagawa ng musical na ang role ko, nanay na.
Oo.
So yun, ang takot namin na, sorry naman guys parang ang bata mo kasi tingnan, hindi ko naman maiwasan talaga eh. Paano
Beauty
ba?
kasi.
Paano
Mahirap
ba
maging
kasi?
beautiful.
Saglit lang. So, pagka na lang, sabi ko nga kasi parang nung nagre-rehearse pa lang kami, parang hindi talaga ako kasi nagme-memorize ng script.
Oo.
So, si Miss Maribel, si Chang Maribel, yung director namin, yung mga linya mo.
Puro ad-lib to.
Oo, ako kasi talaga, hindi talaga ako nagme-memorize ng script. Natututunan ko yung mga linya pag nagre-rehearse na.
Kumbaga, guide lang yon.
Oo, parang, tapos, grammar talaga ako eh. Yung mga 2 days before,
Ako rin.
Ganyan. Mabasa na ako. Ah, ito na, ito
You
na.
work
ito na.
under pressure
Oo,
better.
oo. So, hindi talaga ako nasanay. So, yung talagang problema lagi sa akin, ad-lib, yung mga linya.
So lahat ng roles mo, whether it's on TV, movies, ganun ka talaga?
Oo, hindi talaga ako nagbabasa ng script.
Frustration.
Isang beses ko lang siya babasahin.
Oo.
Kasi parang ang sarap na inaral mo yung script na yung character mo, inaral mo, hindi lang yung character mo, pati yung buong script. Kasi ang tendency kasi pag minimemorize, para sa akin minimemorize mo lang yung script mo. Pero alam mo ba yung takbo ng storya? So, ang sarap pag nagre-rehearse na unti-unti kang nagda-drop script, tapos pag nagre-rehearse naman kami, laging line, pwede mong hingin yung line, mag-feed yung stage manager. So parang, yun, dun ko mas naiintindihan ko pagka nagkakram ako.
Oo. Eh, comedian ka rin, no? And you're...
Hindi, bold star kaya ako.
Okay, sige. As a bold star and comedian, mahirap i-bear ang skin, no?
Oo nga.
What is the challenge for you compared from TV to movies to theater? Anong mas gusto mo or saan ka nahihirapan?
Love ko talaga yung theater eh. So nung nag-start kasi ako, nung na-discover nila ako for TV ni Mr. Ricky Rivero, he watched the play Alikabok in year 2001. Tapos parang, syempre, bata, ang daming pangarap, gustong kumita ng malaki. Sige, titaping na ako, ganun. Pero yun lang. Never ka talagang dinream na, ay, gusto ko maging ganito, bonggang-bong. Basta yung kung ano lang, may trabaho lang. Tapos, kailangan sa isang taon or in 2 years, in 1 year, may magawa akong play. Kasi parang feeling ko kasi yung nanginginig ako pag wala akong ginagawang play.
Nasa dugo mo talaga
Oo,
yung
yun talaga
theater.
kasi yung love ko eh.
At ang training sa theater, iba, no?
Yes.
Sa television. How is it different pag nagpe-prepare ka for theater or even the acting in theater versus television or the movies?
Kasi sa theater, yung disiplinas at saka yung pagmamahal mo sa ginagawa mo. Kasi alam naman natin na hindi tayo kumikita ng malaki sa teatro. So, ang tendency, minamahal mo talaga eh. Hindi mo siya iisipin na trabaho. Ginagawa mo to dahil mahal mo yung ginagawa mo. Pinapahalagahan mo yung bawat sentimong kikitain mo. Kasi nga, maliit lang siya, hindi siya malaki. Pag sa TV kasi or sa movie, alam mong malaki. So,
So anong
Ganyan
masasabi
ka
mo
lang,
sa mga
ganon.
artista ngayon? Yung wala masyadong training sa pag-artist, sa magaganda, or some of them don't really go through proper actors training.
ang hirap eh. Ang hirap para sa akin. Minsan pagka nanonood ako yung nahihirapan. Kasi parang sayang kasi eh. Sayang eh. Lagi kasi tayong quantity over quality. Diba? Totoo naman yun. So, tapos hindi pa tayo well-oriented about theater. Yung mga bata ngayon, they are not educated about theater. Kung anong nangyayari, akala nila, ganun yun. Yung, alam mo yun, akala nila kung ano-ano lang yun. Akala nila, ganito,
Madali.
pang mayaman lang. So, yung mga bata na nanunood at saka yung mga sumasali sa theater, sakit nila yung kapag nakapag-workshop sila ng isang beses, wow, ang galing mo
Yun
na.
na yun.
Hindi eh. Forever ka mag-aaral. Forever kang... Ako, ang tagal ko nag-stop. So, parang nininervous talaga ako. Sabi ko, Lord, tulungan mo ako kasi ito na yun eh. So, lahat ng mga kaibigan ko nanonood, humingi talaga ako ng pointers. Ano ba? Ano guys? Ganito ba? Kasi, iba kasi yung teatro eh. Iba yung ibibigay mong pagmamahal doon kaysa doon sa... Well, marami naman tayong artista sa television and film na mahal nila, pero yung mga bata na hindi sila oriented na ganito, pag umarte ka kasi, sa teatro hindi pwedeng stereotype eh. Kasi di ba ang unang-unang titingnan pag-aarte ka is truth, katotohanan.
Yes. Oo. Hindi
So,
ka paniniwalaan kung wala sa mukha mo.
Isa sa natutunan ko sa teatro, kapag hindi ka naniwala sa sarili mo, yung manunood sa'yo hindi rin maniniwala sa'yo. So bago ka pumasok dyan, ikaw na yung karakter. Hindi ka na si Kakay, hindi ka na si Ate Isa, hindi ka na si Robert Sen, ikaw na yan. So yun yung naglalak minsan sa TV acting.
Yes.
Kasi nga, pwede mag-cut eh. Pwedeng mag-cut. So anytime na magkamali, okay, cut. Ulitin natin. Okay.
Ito, one
Actor's cue,
chance
yes.
on the theater
Actor's cue, ganun.
stage.
So, pag nagteatro ka, ang ganda-ganda talaga ng training. So, parang minsan wini-wish ko rin yung mga bata sa TV or yung mga art, i-try din nila talaga. Kasi test of patience to eh.
That's
Test
true.
of neurons.
Yes, that's true.
Di ba? Yung
Make new
endurance,
connections,
lahat.
oo.
Oh my, lahat
And
talaga.
test of your true talent. Kung talagang
Yes.
may talento ka.
Oo,
o
dito
hindi.
talagang mararanasan nyo, batuhin kayo ng silya dito, murahin kayo, lahat.
Survival of the fittest talaga dito.
Yes. Kung sa TV, pwede kang pagalitan ng kung ano, sabihan ng ano. Dito, hindi. Yung talagang manginginig ka.
Oo.
Kasi walang star dito eh.
Oo.
Walang star. Walang star, walang diva.
Oo.
Everybody works as a team.
Yes.
You work as a family. Walang, kumbaga, lahat dapat alerto. Kung may makalimot ng linya, dapat saluhin mo. Sabi nga sa akin ng isang mentor ko, pag ikaw artista ka sa teatro, dapat alam mo kung paano tumatakbo yung storya natin. Dapat alam mo rin yung mga linya ng iba. Kasi makakatulong yun eh.
That's true. Para saluhan, ano?
Yes,
Oo.
yun yung magic ng theater. Tsaka
Oo.
yung bago kami mag-show, kaya ba natin to? Kaya ba natin to? Kaya ba natin? Sabi ko, hindi.
Bonding talaga,
Pag
no?
may ilaw na yan, pag may audience na, may magic yung entablado. Iba yung magic ng entablado. Pag may nakikita na audience, may ilaw na, may tugtog na, may magic.
Oo. Now, Rak of Aegis has a social message. Yan ang maganda sa mga PETA plays. So,
Yes.
parating may social awareness angle.
Yes.
Para sa'yo, ano talaga yung mensahe dito? Of course, we know it's after the
Yes.
calamity, the Pinoy spirit will
Saya.
rise. Siyempre, may love story. Para sa'yo, ano talaga ang pinaka-mensahe dito?
I think, yung kanta namin na gumising na tayo, swak yun eh. Parang, guys, ano ba? Kasi, pasok siya sa lahat ng aspeto eh. Yung pagiging resilient natin as Filipino na matibay, kahit ano, okay na yun, given na yun eh. Ganun talaga tayo, pero lumaban tayo. Marunong tayo dapat lumaban in a sense na hindi tayo magsisettle for this lang eh.
Yes.
Kasi ang mga Pilipino sobrang galing. Kahit saan ka bumuntang bansa, di ba? Sabi ko nga eh, parang feeling ko tayo yung pinakamagaling na lahi. Kasi, bakit tayo kailangan ng ibang bansa kung magaling sila?
Oo.
Diba? Lahat na. Magsimula tayo sa DH, sa mga accountant, sa mga... Diba? Grabe, kalat na kalat tayo. So, yung mga Filipino, nasanay sila sa bahala na, kaya natin to. Kasi malakas naman tayo eh, masayahin tayo. Kaya, hindi eh.
Oo.
Dapat matuto na tayong, kaya natin to, gawa natin ng paraan. Gumawa tayo ng isang paraan na kaya natin gamit yung mga talento natin at kalakasan natin para makatulong tayo sa sarili natin, hindi lang sa sarili natin, pati sa ibang tao.
Kakay Bautista for president.
Yes.
Pwede ba?
Come on!
Baka makikita natin si Kakay sa politiko, no?
Ay, naku.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Kakay.
you
Very
so
inspiring.
much.
And all
Thank
the best to
you.
your work.
Thank you.
Well, we have to take a short break right now. And when we return, we will be joined by 3 other cast members of Rak of Aegis. News Cafe will be back after these messages.
What started as a joke became one of the most successful and highly praised musicals in Philippine theater to date. Showing the best and worst traits of the Filipino society, Rak of Aegis has rocked Metro Manila with its own rendition of beloved songs from the 1990s band Aegis. Rak of Aegis is based on a true story of a small community in Laguna that was flooded for 2 months after Typhoon Ondoy hit. In typical Pinoy fashion, the members of this community try to rise up from the floodwaters in the hopes of a better life. Armed with a cast of singer-actors, the likes of husband and wife duo Robert Senya and Isay Alvarez Senya, Rak of Aegis has made Filipinos everywhere rock out to the beloved songs of the pop rock band.
Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight at News Cafe. So we have with us tonight John, Gerald. Puro J's kayo, ah?
Yes.
All right, the 3 J's.
Yes.
So let me ask each of you what your experience is. What is your favorite part so far, no, in the season of your role in Rak of Aegis? Ladies first.
Ako
Joanne.
yung basang-basa sa ulan part. Oo.
Epic yun eh, yung scene na yun. Is this yung part na, kunwari, i-record ka pang upload sa YouTube?
Oo. So, ito yung part na hindi hindi na alam ni Aileen yung ginagawa niya. So, parang ito na yung last option niya. I-video mo na lang ako. Baka sakaling maging famous ako dito sa video na to.
Oo.
So, yun.
Ikaw naman, Gerald. Ikaw, you play the role of Tolit.
College, yeah. Actually, lahat na.
Lahat. Siyempre,
Ganun.
ka-love team mo kasi si...
Because I'm always in the bahay. No, actually, ang favorite ko yung bubble scene, the Sinta.
I love that also. Yung dream sequence.
The dream sequence. That's my favorite because it's actually the first a big applause for everyone.
Yeah.
So, I love it.
I wanted to stand and join you all there in the
With a big bubble.
Yeah. John, for
I
you, as
think
part of the
my
song.
favorite part would be Gumising na tayo. Because that's the part of the play where you see the whole community being together. Yung nararamdaman mo talaga yung sense na isa silang barangay. And you know, even if they're fighting against each other, you know that at least meron silang pinaninindigan bawat isa doon. And you know, as part of the ensemble, mararamdaman mo talaga na everyone's connecting and asarap kantahin ng eksena na yun kasi talagang, you know, mararamdaman mo na yung lyrics nung kanta, siya talagang yung script no yung iaarte mo talaga yung pagkanta mo.
Let's get down to the beginnings of Rak of Aegis.
Okay.
Can you tell us about how this all came to be? It was actually from a joke.
Yeah, it started a joke actually. From our musical director, Mike Salomon, which is a crazy guy, apparently.
He also plays the role of Kenny.
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 He's a musical director and now he's Kenny. So I think we were doing Care Divas during that time. And then we were drinking upstairs. We always drink here. Anyway, we love it. And then while we're drinking, Mike said like, oh, nagra-run ngayon yung Rak of Aegis.
Oh.
Alam mo, dapat tapatan natin yan ng Rak of Aegis. And then I didn't know, hindi ko in-expect.
Usapang lasing ka.
Usapang lasing eh. I mean, we have the wine and the beer. And then the artistic director of PETA was there. And hindi ko alam na si seryosohin niya. Tapos nagka-meeting. Tapos nagsabi si Mike through Facebook sa akin na, gagawin na daw yung Rak of Aegis. Joke lang yun, di ba? Sabi ko, well, it's good anyway. Everyone loved it.
Even when I heard the title, and many people thought it was really just a pun on Rak of Aegis,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
many people weren't aware that all those songs you used to hear in the 90s, Aegis, yung mga
Yes.
pang-karaoke natin.
Yeah. It's very Filipino actually.
Yeah. Were you all familiar with the music of Aegis?
Yes,
Oo naman.
I am a fan. So I really wanted to be part of the cast talaga. Sinabi ko na kay Ate Liza, please,
Si writer,
Yeah,
si
para
Liza Montoro.
like, or include some songs. Like, you should have this, you should have that. Like, Christmas bonus should be there no matter what happens.
So did you all have a role in the conceptualization? May suggestions din kayo? Paano
Actually,
yung
kahit nung
participation?
nagmamount kami ng production, I think lahat naman kami may mga suggestions dun sa characters namin. So, may mga inputs kami about the character.
So yun nga, paano yung preparations niyo for your characters, no? Siyempre, kilala niyo yung Aegis, but for each of your roles, how did you specifically prepare for you, Joanne?
Well, kasi yung Rak of Aegis, of course, musical siya. So, unang-una, kailangan ready yung boses mo.
Oo.
So, may mga nagvo-voice lessons kami. Ako, specifically, nagvo-voice lesson ako. Tapos, dahil may dance kami, kailangan namin mag-workout.
Oo.
Oo. So, tapos sa
Kitang-kita nga
character, of course, kailangan namin mag-research. So, like ako, kasi yung setting nung Rak of Aegis, sa Laguna talaga siya. So, dahil taga Laguna ako, alam ko kung saan talaga yung place na yon nangyayari. So, pumunta ako doon.
Yung
para
parang
mag-observe.
Barangay Venecia.
Oo.
Yan. Oo.
Yun.
So talagang pinuntahan mo ang
Oo,
lugar
para
ma-feel
mag-research,
mo.
yes.
Oo. Ikaw naman, Jen.
Ganun ka-intense si
Oo,
Joanne.
ganun.
Ako naman, actually, it's an actor's job to do whatever, like, you know, prepare for the character, voice lesson. But the basic para sa mga nag-audition or para sa mga nakast is you have to reach that certain note of Aegis note. That kind of thing. Yung taas eh. It has to be rock, it has to be Aegis. It's actually a word now. It has to be Aegis eh. So everyone was really pressured. Like, oh, paano kaya gagawin ni Mike? Kasi DJ Mike is the musical director. Paano kaya gagawin niya? Tapos yun, pinaghahandaan namin and everyone actually tulong-tulong naman na. So, what do you think?
Nagsasaluhan kayo. Oo. Ikaw.
Well, as part of the ensemble, it's a fun process for us kasi wala talagang naka-specific written description sa roles namin. So it was a fun process for us because kami lang yung gumawa nung mga characters namin. Like, we talked about what our relationship with the lead characters are, like ano yung relationship namin kay Eileen as part of this. And also, I think one of the things that ako personally, yung nahugot ko to prepare for my role here in Rak of Aegis is that also, just like Ate Liza Magtoto, our writer, the inspiration for this was our experience in Ondoy. Ondoy pa lang. PETA does psychosocial debriefing programs.
Yes.
And during Ondoy, Laguna was one of the hard-hit areas. And I was one of the artist teachers who went there and personally did workshops with survivors of the flood of Ondoy. So I think knowing and seeing the areas personally and meeting people who are survivors of that event, madadala mo siya dito eh. So ayun, yung ganong feeling na looking at them, they're still smiling, they're able to share themselves.
Yeah.
Yung ganon ding feel mo rin siya dito sa Rak of Aegis.
And si Liza nga based this story largely on this experience you had there, right? So how does it feel? Many PETA plays are really known for their social awareness relevance. When you were doing this show, naiisip nyo, but syempre, dami natin string of calamities, right? After Yolanda. Where do you pull from to get all of this emotional, all your emotions and inspiration for you, John?
Actually, I think nung Ondoy kasi, ang daming, marami sa amin naka-experience. Medyo bad experience. Like, merong na-stranded sa baha talaga. Tapos na-stuck dito sa PETA. And I think na-cancel yung show natin dahil dun sa Ondoy. So, I think dun sa experience pa lang na yon, marami na kaming mahuhugot. So, yun. Tsaka, lalo na sa TV, like, napapanood mo sila. So, mararamdaman mo din talaga, di ba?
For you, Gerald?
Well, when I was young kasi I live in Tondo. So, well, it's not always baha there. But pag binaha, yung tao, oh, baha. So panic. But especially for Filipino, when I was young, even if it's hanggang dito, we were just playing in the baha. So it's actually showing, if you're remembering that thing, it's just showing the resiliency factor. I was just like playing and swimming in the baha with the rats, something like that. But if you're gonna use it in the play or what if you need it, pwede mong ipasok agad yung mga ganun eh. You don't have to actually be very precise. You just have to renew the experience that you have. Like that.
So first-hand experience.
Yeah, first-hand experience.
John?
I think yung keyword I would like to take off from Gerald is resiliency. Like, knowing a lot of Filipinos, they go through different calamities and hardships, pero they are able to become resilient, yung talagang babangon at they will move on with their lives. And sometimes, ngingiti pa yan kahit alam mong nakadapa na sila sa lupa or whatever. Ngingiti pa rin yan. I think, knowing na may ganun yung Pinoy, I think that's also one of the emotions that we keep here in Rak of Aegis. Yung kaya kahit sa cast ganun, masaya lang kami sa likod.
That's why foreigners don't take us seriously eh. No, just kidding.
Masyadong joking.
Minsan yung mga foreigners when they watch the play, they always ask what the scene is very serious but the audience is laughing and all that. So I mean that's one
They don't get that that's the culture.
It's very Pinoy eh. Yung ang lungkot na pero natatawa ka, yung ganun. So I think
You see this video, someone's on the roof with the umbrella, and then he was like waving with the camera, with the Yossi, and the
like,
meme.
During Yolanda, yung mga foreign news
Yeah,
correspondents, they couldn't believe how can you smile when this is happening.
I think that's one thing na makikita mo rin dito sa play. Meron siyang mga ganong recurring themes na we really wanted to capture that, yung ganong moments na very Pinoy.
Yes. And this is the beauty of this play. I think with each of your characters, everybody could relate to a particular character. Uy, ako yun. Nangyari yun sa akin. But what's even better is, of course, the deep issue of survival, hope. It's love in the time of calamity. Lahat tayo, di ba, naranasan natin.
Yeah.
So there's a love story, of course, di ba? May love. In fact, there's like a love triangle.
Yes,
There's
actually.
Stolitz,
It's Stolitz,
Kenny,
Kenny and Eileen.
Eileen, right.
Actually.
So let's talk about acting techniques. You all work in TV, film, theater. How is it working or preparing for theater versus TV, Joanne?
Actually, for theater, marami talagang preparation sa kailangan mong gawin. Like, research, dun sa character. So, as much as possible, kung kayang pumunta dun sa community para lang makapag-research, para mabigay yung truth and sincerity. So, ibibigay mo talaga yun. Like, pero sa TV naman, magkaiba talaga siya eh. So, TV is very technical. Pero still, kailangan pa rin ipakita yung truth about the character. So, hindi siya masyadong malaki, hindi siya sobrang liit, or may part lang na maliit. So, iba rin siya, technically.
Oo.
So, ganun.
Oo. Ikaw naman, Gerald.
Well, sa theater kasi we usually have a month or a month and a half rehearsals. So actually, you build your character from that rehearsals, you memorize all the lines, and you memorize all the choreography or the singing. If it's a straight play without singing, you just memorize the lines of the character. So you build that already so that when you do the first show, you save yourself. You save yourself because you're showing the character that you mold for 2 hours. It's one time, big time. You save yourself. Unlike on TV, if we do this sequence 2.2, pag nagkamali ako sa linya, I can just direct, can I just have
Cut.
another...
100 takes, pwede.
Yeah, pwede, di ba?
Best
But the responsibility of an actor is to be truthful. Kahit anong medium pa. Yeah.
Ikaw naman,
I
John.
think what I love about theater is yung collaborative siya. Meron siya opportunity para mag-collaborate talaga lahat. Kasi nga parang inuulit-ulit mo siya, unlike TV na pag nakuha mo na yung take, yun na yun, 'di ba? Like unlike in theater, every show is a new show.
Yeah.
So it's very collaborative. Pwedeng mangyari kahit ano, which makes it very exciting. And yung feeling na talaga inambagan nyo, like yung discussion natin earlier, the script is not fully furnished na siya na pag yun na yun, di ba? So ano siya, nadadagdagan, it evolves. So it's a very interesting medium. Yung
And then
theater.
here, there's even audience participation.
Yes.
May mga
Isang factor
dinadalagan.
pa yun.
So nakakatawa, nagpipicture sila. So you react, every audience member is different, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a particular member from the audience that stands out? Kasi di ba nagpipicture sa'yo, baka mahulog, may nahulog na ba sa...
No, but lately we've been getting celebrities to come up on stage.
Marian, we took Marian Rivera. She was in front. And then there's a part where she has to drink the Baha juice. And she was just like,
did.
ano yan? And the guy said, Baha juice. Okay. And then she did the jump shot there and the slam.
Yeah.
Pinalatin niyo yung voice niya, di ba, when you drink that juice?
Yeah.
Bumababa ang
Minum lang. But very game. It's just fun. I mean, we don't know, not everyone knows Marian personally.
Yeah.
When you see Marian Rivera on stage and doing...
Nasa starstruck rin kayo.
Tapos gagawin niya yung mga bagay na, uy, ginawa niya yun. May ganun. So, masaya.
Yeah. And what's very interesting, PETA has outreach programs. So your shows, like this show, you've had the barangay come in to watch, no? Tell us
Yes,
about how the neighborhood has come to join in.
I think on the opening night, I think that's when we invited the barangay near PETA. It's Barangay Kalusugan. So we invited them to
The
come
healthy
over.
barangay.
Yes, because St. Luke's is near, so it's Barangay Kalusugan.
Ayun
So
pala.
so they went here, they watched, and I think they're very lucky because the show that they watched is the show that Aegis band was here and they performed about 4 songs.
Wow.
So I think they're very lucky to have watched the show in Aegis during that time. And every time the actors come in the barangay, because sometimes after rehearsals, we go out there and we eat in the Tapsilogan, dyan lang sa may barangay. And then, kilala nila kami and we know them and they tell us, Oy, Tolits, or Oy,
By your
Aileen.
character names,
Yeah, so
no?
they call us by that, yung mga ganon. So,
And this is
masaya
just
siya.
one of the many programs that PETA does. You have other programs and courses.
Yes,
no?
we have other programs like we have different departments, like we have the School of People's Theater. I'm part of the School of People's Theater as the project coordinator. So the school, we have summer workshop programs, so that's near na, starting April to May. And then we also have the Art Zone program, which advocates positive discipline. We have the Youth Arm program, which Joan is a part of it
Yes.
before. And then we also have the Children's Theater program and special events and other things.
Do you think that Filipinos are really accepting of theater? Do you think this is something that will really radiate to the masses? Joanne, ikaw?
Actually, yun yung kagandahan sa live performances. Kasi nakikita mo yung reaction ng audience. Naririnig mo yung reaction nila. So parang kahit ikaw, nasa stage ka, alam mo nakikinig sila. Nakikinig sila, nagre-react sila. Alam nila yung nangyayari. So yun.
And across generations to, ha? All ages.
Lahat.
Word of mouth na rin kasi. Actually, in the past, as I would remember, in the past, ang market of PETA is just this. The market of Repertory Philippines is just this.
Yes.
But now everyone from Repertory Philippines is watching Rak of Aegis. The market of Rak of Aegis is also watching Wicked, the foreign
Yeah, mas
theater.
nakikilala na rin nila.
ganun eh.
I think it's striking the right balance nung commercial to yung balance ng commercial tsaka nung may social content. Ay yung ganun, yung kumbaga it's finding the right material then that people will really like across social classes or across generations. So I think yung Rak of Aegis, parang in a sense naging successful siya kasi ang dami na naming nakitang iba-ibang mga tao na pumupunta dito. So,
At more than once, di ba? Kung
yes.
ilang beses
And
sila nanonood.
most of the mga people na we hear na parang, uy, yung kakilala ko, hindi siya nanonood ng play, pero nanonood siya, tapos sobrang gusto niya na magsimula manood ng mga play. So, I think depende rin siya dun sa tamang material na makakapagpa-start ng interest ng mga tao. So,
Do you think that social media is changing the way theater, even acting, the acting industry is now? For example, dito talagang na-incorporate yung social media with YouTube, di ba? Yung character mo, si Aileen, wanted to come out on YouTube to get on the Ellen DeGeneres show. How is social media affecting your industry, do you think?
well, syempre sa pagpo-promote, I think now more than ever, sobrang bilis na kumalat ng balita. Like, may mga hashtag na ngayon. Dati wala namang hashtag, di ba? Parang, pag andali lang sabihin na parang, thank you for watching the show, hashtag Rak of Aegis. Kami din, in a sense, it's a two-way process eh. You also know agad kung ano din yung reaction nila.
exactly.
Like, pag search mo yung hashtag, malalaman mo na kahit after the show, ano yung tingin nila sa show. So, ganun siya, two-way process siya, na sila din, nako-connect din nila yung mga nakaka-connect sila sa mga artista. Yung artista din, nakaka-connect din sa kanila at nalalam, it helps din in the process of, yun, as
Raising
an actor.
awareness or,
Yes.
And I recently I received a message from someone who watched Rak of Aegis.
Yeah.
And it was very, very inspirational kasi she told me sa message in Facebook na I was really depressed. I was depressed now, may pinagdadaanan ako. Pero nung napanood ko kayo, nawala yung depression ko, gusto ko pong manood uli. Maraming salamat po, napapasaya niyo po yung mga taong gaya ko. Nakita ko po yung pinaghirapan niyo. So I was like, I mean, of course, as an actor, you want the applause.
Yes.
But that kind of message is more than the applause.
You can die now.
Yeah, I was just like, I just
That's
inspired
fulfilling.
someone right now.
Yeah,
Ano,
yeah.
Parang may ganun.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you very much and all the best to all of you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. I hope you enjoyed this episode of News Cafe, where we spoke to some of the people behind Rak of Aegis. Please post your comments on Twitter or on Facebook, and join us again next Thursday for another round of discussions on the Solar News channel. Good night. I'm Mitzi Borromeo.
Sa bukod, hindi na pa nakasalanan.